Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the Kliq, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
If you can, survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In The Kliq.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my brother Tommy. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
And look at this, a little bit of a different lineup change for this episode of In The Kliq. Also joining us is our good brother from within the ropes. It's Brian Tronick. How you doing, man?
I'm back.
Yes, you are
Yes.
back.
I'm feeling good.
Well, it's a little bit different because it's the first time you and Tommy are on the same podcast together, so it's kind of exciting times. A little bit of a different.
It's a nice experiment.
Yeah, dynamic.
Yes.
But full disclosure, it's all the Kliqsters right now. I think it's because we're the only three people who watch Extreme Rules amongst our Kliq group. I guess you could say our super Kliq.
Yep.
Everyone who
Pretty much.
contributes to the In The Kliq podcast. We're the only three who are watching it live tonight. So here in the Bay Area, going on down in San Jose, is called the Sofa Street Fair, which means I think south of First Avenue. It's this part of downtown San Jose where it's like a big outdoor festival. They have a bunch of outdoor stages, bands performing, booths, just your typical like outdoor, festival, street fair type stuff. And so Richard is out there because one of his good friends puts it on, and he can go and see a lot of his friends out there he hasn't seen in a long time in the pandemic.
We went to it a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, we've gone to a few over the years, and it's really fun. Honestly, it's it's cool because like you get to go out there and, pre-pandemic, you have a lot of bands performing, all these different stages, a lot of local bands all throughout the day. People are coming and going, walking around. It's a lot of fun. But like I said, Richard, his friends are part of it. And so he texted me earlier he was going to watch Extreme Rules live because he was going to go out there and just see his friends as he hadn't seen in a long time. But for Philip, he is also actually down there because Agua is one of the attractions for today's Sofa Street Fair. In recent years, they go out there and put on wrestling shows out there. And I think they've done some outdoors and some inside, but today they're actually indoors inside at the Ritz. They're putting on some wrestling matches, and our boy Philip is doing some commentary. So kudos to him. Very proud of him. He's get to go out and do that. That's something he's been wanting to do. So I don't know if it's going to be taped or anything. I forgot to ask him if Brian, do you have any idea if any of these matches are going to air anywhere or anything like that?
I think he said something about him being taped.
Okay, that's good. I have not seen Philip in person call matches yet. I want to experience that. But I told him, this was, it's a big deal. He should go out there and definitely do this. So I'm very happy for him. So,
yeah, me too.
Get his foot in the door and start doing more of these. That's great. So, so two of our guys are busy now watching Extreme Rules live. So it's the three of us. And I was like, let's do this. Something different. All three of us working together on this episode. So here we are, Extreme Rules. A pay-per-view, I think the build, or at least just kind of maybe the excitement level for the last few weeks has just been like, it's coming. It's on the calendar. Oh, here it is. It's today. It's one of these B-level pay-per-views that I think most of the time people's expectations are kind of low, especially last Extreme Rules, which was last year at the Performance Center. Remember that one with Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio and the eyeball?
The horror show.
That's right. Extreme Rules, it's kind of a pay-per-view. I just don't know why they really do it anymore for multiple reasons, especially today. I'll just throw it out there. There weren't really any Extreme Rules matches or matches with chairs or weapons of any sort, except for the main event. So it's like you have this pay-per-view called Extreme Rules, and there wasn't a lot. It was just regular matches. But Brian, I'll start with you. Just kind of your overall takeaways from Extreme Rules, and then we'll go down through the card and recap the highlights. So yeah, just kind of your initial takeaways.
Yeah, I knew this would happen. I knew that it would be a situation or a pay-per-view where, I mean, because there was no real buzz. I felt like, Big E cashing in, Big E and Roman being on Raw, and, the announcement of Brock Lesnar and Roman for Crown Jewel. I felt like all of that just kind of took all the momentum or the potential momentum that Extreme Rules had. And I think people were also disappointed with, like you said, the fact that there was no Extreme Rules matches. We're used to getting chairs matches and tables matches and, no holds barred and, triple threat ladder matches and things. And there was so much room for all of that on this card, but we didn't get any of that. So, and it was kind of disappointing. Like the matches were good, but without that, is it really Extreme Rules?
Well, that's the thing, and I'm just trying to Google real quick, just kind of like the overall history of Extreme Rules as a pay-per-view. Okay, here we go. Okay, so first one was 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17 was Raw only. 18. So yeah, they've been doing it every year for the last 13 years, or this is the 13th one over the last 12 years.
Wow.
Man, I didn't realize it's been going on that long. It's, for me in general, I'm not a big fan of WWE using a stipulation as the name of the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Because
you kind of horseshoe yourself into, or you force yourself to do these stipulations when maybe it's not necessarily called for. Or especially tonight, it's like it's called Extreme Rules, and they didn't even use any Extreme Rules type stipulation. So it's like, what was the point? It's for example, like Extreme Rules, Hell in a Cell, TLC. It's like these pay-per-views with the name of a stipulation in it. Like you said, you're kind of forcing or telegraphing. It's like, okay, yeah, we're going to be, at some point, we're going to have some of these matches with these type of stipulations. But, like, unless it naturally, I'm more in favor of stipulations when they organically seem right to do.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. As far as, okay, if we're going to have a tables match, yeah, like, if it's necessary. But if you're just saying, oh, yeah, these two guys are going to have a tables match just because one of them went through a table recently, well, it doesn't seem like organic. It's just you're forcing it. So that's why I'm not, like, a big fan of, like, this pay-per-view, especially last year, the horror show. That was I think it really jumped the shark last year. And that's the thing. It's like, I guess for WWE, they like saying Extreme Rules instead of saying hardcore. Right? Is that their MO?
I think so.
I mean, it was cool. So I watched SmackDown this morning.
So hardcore is now like a taboo word now?
Yeah, something like that.
Since you can't say hospital, you have to say medical facility.
That's something we should do.
It's a Vince McMahon taboo word.
Yeah, I mean, if we had to, we should like write down and go over all the words and phrases that WWE uses instead of saying the actual word and
the term.
I mean, well, case in point, pro wrestling, they say sports entertainment. That's the number one term they use. But anyway, like, so.
But they say wrestling, or WrestleMania,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's my thing. So I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, there's nothing really extreme going on. And, I think in the past we're used to Extreme Rules. We're expecting all these hardcore type matches. But yeah, they don't go super hardcore. So I know I'm not in favor. I think they need to retire the name and come up with something else. They got so many other great names.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What was last September? Was last September Clash of Champions?
Clash of Champions, yeah.
I love the name Clash of Champions because it's like, okay, we're going to get every title on the line. I'm all for that. And then for October, normally it's been Hell in a Cell in recent years, but they moved that up to June this year. So is the Saudi Arabia show the only thing pay-per-view wise lined up for October?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. Okay.
I was curious a couple weeks ago, and I looked up. I was like, wow, I don't see anything else. I think that's it.
I mean, the only bright side of them using the Extreme Rules name this weekend was on Friday on SmackDown. Just Paul Heyman SmackDown took place in Philadelphia, and he said, Roman Reigns, you need to get extreme. And then the crowd started going, ECW, ECW, ECW. So I popped for that.
Yeah.
And so that was the only cool thing. But Tommy, how about yourself? Anything else stood out for you just overall from the pay-per-view? Any takeaways?
Brian just said the words right out of my mouth, too. I agree with what he said,
I will say, Brian, what'd you think of the crowd tonight? I thought the crowd was great.
Crowd was great. And I hate when that happens. I feel like, man, you got to reward a crowd like that when you have a hot crowd that's entertaining and that obviously, like, if you're a viewer at home, the crowd, they make you wish you were there in a sense, right? And so from the opening match all the way, I feel like they were decent all the way to the end. It's just like, oh man, you can't even get a little something, call an audible, hit someone with a chair, do something,
to get the crowd going. And that's the thing. It is it just shows, one, how valuable and how important the crowd is to any wrestling show in general, any promotion. They can make a show that maybe wrestling-wise is okay, but it can make the show good. It can make a good show just feel and sound great and so forth. They add a whole extra layer from an entertainment standpoint that makes a show outstanding. And so the crowd, especially when a crowd is involved, cheering and booing at the appropriate places, all that stuff. I mean, there's some crowds that are dead, and that just sucks. I feel bad for the wrestlers because you could tell they're working their ass off and not getting any reaction. A little good reminder, if you're at a wrestling show, please watch the crowd. Don't get too busy, like, looking at your phone and stuff like that. But yeah, I just... for in general, it shows, hey, if you're going to a wrestling show, man, make sure to get involved and participate because you really could help make a show outstanding. So, I want to say that
European crowds are more enthusiastic.
Than
American fans.
Well, no, that's what I wanted to say. So everyone here in the Bay Area who are listening, the Kliqsters out here, make sure you go to the SAP Center Friday, October 8th, or the Chase Center for Monday Night Raw on Monday, October 11th. And show the Bay Area. We represent the Bay Area to the fullest. Give your emotion, make the crowd extra entertaining and shout it out, participate. And that's the thing too. I like when a crowd goes along with how the show is.
Yeah.
You cheer for the good guys, you boo the bad guys, you don't try to turn on anyone. Yeah. If you play along nicely, it just overall makes a great, better, enjoyable experience. That's so. I will say that. But let's jump right into this. So the kickoff show, which got announced today, that Liv Morgan and Carmella got bumped back. It was originally scheduled for the main show, and then earlier today it was announced for the kickoff, which to me, totally fine. No offense to them, but the build and stuff, it's been okay, especially because they kind of represent like the mid card of the women's division right now. So I think it was fine on the kickoff show. But Brian, what you kind of think of this match here? It wasn't super long; it was just under 8 minutes. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I think this was a proper showing for Liv Morgan and what she's capable of, what she can do. She had a great crowd. To cheer her on. And there was no shenanigans. Like, there was no Zelina Vega. There was no distractions. It was just a nice, clean finish. And I enjoyed it. Carmella, I think she doesn't get enough credit that she deserves either. I mean, she's a former champion, former Money in the Bank, cashed in on the Queen City, Charlotte Flair, So I just feel like these are two women who are great in the ring, more than capable. I see some people online kind of get wrapped up with, Carmella's gimmick and the most beautiful woman in all WWE, but she can really wrestle, guys. Relax.
And it was you, right, who tweeted about both their ring gear, right?
Yes. It was beautiful. I felt like Liv Morgan with the black and green representing kind of like Shawn Michaels from In Your House DX 1997, and then Carmella with the white and a little bit of gold in there, representing Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 25 against the Dead Man.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels vibes. I loved it.
So it was cool. I definitely like the gear. I mean, for me, the DX inspired gear really popped, and like I noticed that it was like Liv Morgan, the full like black outfit with the green X's on it, neon green on there. So I thought that was really cool.
Everyone wants to wear gear that's. It seems like to me it's in tribute to Shawn Michaels. It seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really shows just how I guess influential Shawn Michaels is.
Homage.
Paying homage to him as far as just. He is arguably one of the greatest. I mean, I as a Stone Cold fan, I will say Shawn Michaels is probably the best in-ring performer of my lifetime that I got to see. Mm-hmm. So it's, it just shows how many people have been inspired by him. And so it's just cool when wrestlers pay tribute to people of the past, especially for younger kids and stuff who are watching, is, see who these people they're paying tribute to, and then do yourself a favor, go on the network or Peacock, whatever, and look up these wrestlers in the past, watch their matches. I think it's always great for the fans, really learn the full history, even if it's just WWE, or if you take the time, look up NWA and all the territories. I think it's really important to learn about the whole history, the spectrum of wrestling, especially over the last 30-40 years. So but yeah, for Liv Morgan, it was a pretty hard-hitting match, physical for both of them. Even Liv Morgan did the double leg, she drops back and kicks off Carmella, because last week she acted like her nose was broken. This time they did that same spot on the table, and Carmella's like, ah! But yeah, Liv Morgan got the clean victory, and I'm actually really happy, because I wonder if this is the beginning of Liv Morgan getting a push, a babyface push for the women's division. Now, granted, with the draft coming up, who knows if it's going to be on Raw or SmackDown, the push that she gets. But I think it's important, because I think, the main event scene, we could talk more about the main event scene, because now, as far as SmackDown goes, it's pretty stacked right now.
Yeah.
But I think, there's some moving parts right now, and you got to kind of start creating some more future main eventers, or at least contenders for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. So for you, are you kind of like notice that could this be, or are you in favor of like Liv Morgan maybe start getting a push now and could be another baby face?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think she fits perfect as far as the baby. Like I said, especially when you have a crowd reaction like that. And she's been getting really good crowd reactions over the last few months. A lot of people were pushing for her to be involved a few months ago in the title picture, but obviously that didn't happen. And then tonight too, I want to make sure I say this was one of her better matches.
Okay.
Usually I feel like she has like a botch or two, or maybe she's going too fast, or, nervous, what I mean? But I felt like it was it was fluid. It was flowing so well for her, especially the ending sequence where she, hit her with on the desk, and then she came back in and did the face buster, finisher off the middle, off the ropes. That was really cool. That was really cool. So I really enjoyed it. I hope she's getting a push.
Yeah. Because you think about it, I mean, for SmackDown, it's Becky, it's Bianca, spoiler alert, Sasha Banks now back. Over on Raw, it is Charlotte, it is Alexa Bliss, Nia
Ripley.
Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH are kind of they're busy with the tag title scene right now. So as far as singles competitors, Nia is out injured, right? She legit
Nia's injured. Yeah.
Shayna Baszler's kind of been reestablished as a monster, which is great. They need a monster heel. As someone that could challenge a babyface champion. So I'm just wondering, it's a lot of heels.
Yeah.
I mean, so they don't have a lot of baby outside of Bianca, who's like a top baby face for the women's division. So I think they need to start creating some more. So hopefully Liv Morgan's win tonight. That's what they're setting up, which I'm all for. So it's something keep your eye out on. And with the draft, and I don't know, maybe move to Raw could be better, but I don't know if she's ready to deal with the queen herself on Monday Night Raw. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So moving on to the actual main show, it was announced on Twitter early in the day that we're going to get a 6-man tag match. The New Day featuring, of course, the new or current WWE champion Big E, along with Kofi and Xavier, taking on a makeshift thrown together team of Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, and Omos. But dude, Brian, this match was a lot of fun for being last minute. Yeah. I mean, these are all total pros, and it was a badass fun opening match. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought that a lot of people online were upset because Bobby Lashley didn't have Cedric or Shelton.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt business, but it was still a powerful team. You still got AJ Styles, still got Omos, and then of course the New Day, who everyone was cheering for, which was good to see. We haven't heard a lot of New Day Rocks chants in a while, so
yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was hard hitting. I felt like Big E looked very strong and powerful, as well as even Bobby Lashley. And then we got to see what AJ Styles and Big E in the ring would look like. So that was cool. I enjoyed it.
It's by the way, before I forget, we got to talk about Peacock and the audio issues. I forgot. I just looked on my Twitter and reminded myself. So I don't know about you. I turned on the kickoff show probably about like 4:30, I think it was, and like I'm hearing Spanish commentary and the English commentary, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm like in a warped portal or timeline or something. It was like, what the hell's going on here? So
it's like, ay caramba.
But everyone was dealing with it, apparently. It wasn't just me.
I feel like, if anything, that might have killed Liv Morgan and Carmella's match, because so many people were focused on the commentary. No one could really pay attention to the actual match or even the commentary to understand like what they were saying and how they were calling the match.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I mean,
and damn, I was bummed not to see the Spanish announce table.
Yeah, where were they doing their calling at?
Yeah.
Are they? Oh, they must be off to this. If they're in-house, they're in the side, like behind like the floor seats, in front of the cam or non-camera.
In front of the hard cam,
non-hard cam side.
Yeah.
So, because sometimes they'll do that shot where they go down each different country or language available. But yeah, no, that was crazy. I mean, it's like, come on, Peacock. I don't know whose fault it was. It was Peacock, it's WWE, but I mean, this Peacock. What's that?
They continue to have their issues.
Yeah. So I mean, what's been 6 months now?
I said that maybe this was NBC getting back at WWE for maybe their favoritism to Fox.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna ruin all your pay-per-views then.
Hey, blame that on Nick Khan. I don't know.
Well, my thing is like, come on. I mean, this is not great advertisement for Peacock. I mean, another reason why people miss the WWE Network. We didn't have these issues. I mean, they said they're supposed to have the full library by SummerSlam, which I don't know. Do you know if everything's up there? Did they transfer everything over?
I haven't seen quite
I don't think
much.
so.
I haven't really looked.
And you know what, too? They have an issue with even like, I don't know if they've stopped putting 205 Live up after it's live broadcasting, but like they'll show it live and then it's not available right away on demand. And it's happened like even like now you can go like check for it and it's not popping. Like the recent ones aren't popping up. Like the last one that they have is when they were still when NXT was gold. They had the gold ropes and everything. So yeah, I'm like, what's going on? A few times it happened even with NXT UK.
Well, I was going to say 205 Live is not 205 Live anymore as far as cruiserweights. Like, it's a variety of people now, right? So it's literally like a
lot of women now.
Yeah. So it's like a bonus show of like NXT people.
Pretty much.
Kind of like what the main event is? Or?
Yeah, so they just need to rechange the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope they do.
I mean, bring back what was Saturday morning? Velocity.
Velocity?
Or remember WWE or WWF back then, Mania on Saturday morning?
Yeah, something. Or Livewire. Bring back Livewire or something like that.
Shotgun Saturday night.
Yeah, Shotgun Saturday night. That was my favorite. First season.
So anyway, it's like, come on, Peacock, get your act together. But all right, so back to the opening match. So I love this intensity from Bobby Lashley as far as he's someone who lost the WWE Championship. He is pissed off. And I love that character development. It's like, dude, he was a dominant WWE champion for over 6 months.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he lost the title kind of like 2-on-1, if you want to count his match with Randy Orton, and then Big E coming in, attacking him, or getting a match with him post the table, hurting his leg, his knee. Yeah. So he is frustrated and he wants that title back. I love that passion. Even though he's a heel, he is acting properly as someone who lost the title and wants it back, and he's going to go at any cost necessary to get it back. But the match itself was a lot of fun. I mean, come on. You got New Day, who are arguably one of the greatest factions of all time. They're all pros. Mm-hmm. AJ Styles, arguably the best wrestler in the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. Omos, who's the greenest guy in the room, but he did his part of being the big monster. I like what Big E said, I'm not afraid of you. That's the champion I want. I want to not be afraid of anyone.
Yeah.
But even AJ Styles, I mean, come on. And then Bobby Lashley. So the match was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. I thought Big E did great, carrying the match, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is his time to shine now.
And I felt, that spot, to the finish, in the match was slick. I mean, Big E got out of the way the last possible second, and AJ Styles sold the hell out of that spear from Bobby Lashley, I felt.
Oh, yeah. And then, Big E came into the Big Indy, and Bobby Lashley got the pin. But even AJ, there was one point, there was a little botch between him and Big E. I don't know if you saw, it was by the ropes, and but AJ Styles is so good, he was able to improv or act quickly in the moment and recover and turn into something else, and their momentum just kept going. So I just want to give a shout out AJ Styles that match. But yeah, I liked how, keep in mind, AJ Styles, remember, was it Bobby Lashley slapped him in the face, and that was his tag in?
Yeah.
And then later on, AJ, hit him or slapped him to get his pin in. And Bobby's looking at him, and then AJ was ready to do the phenomenal forearm off the ropes, and then Bobby just slapped him on the back, and he comes in.
Or didn't he slap him on the ass or something?
Yeah. Like that? Well, I'm saying, so they're going back and forth. They're like, no, it's my turn. I want to be in there.
Right.
But so we see Bobby Lashley spear AJ Styles. So, I wonder, are we going to get a program between the two of them now? It's so the New Day wins. Big E gets the pin, which is great. As WWE champion, he should be the one to take the pin. Yep. I was a little bummed that Bobby Lashley ate the pin, but at the same time, it kind of helps solidify Big E as WWE champion, and it also sets up tomorrow night on Raw, which we'll go ahead. We just tease it right now. So Bobby Lashley cut a promo and said he wants the title back. He wants to challenge Big E for Monday Night Raw. Or on Monday Night Raw for the WWE Championship. And then Big E cut a promo later, says, yeah, I accept it, and let's be the first match of the night. So it's made official. So, I mean, I don't know if it's counter-programming or they're inspired based on Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson kicked off Dynamite this week. Mm-hmm. But what are your thoughts, Brian?
Could be a little both. Could be
a little bit. Get a WWE Championship match to kick off Raw.
Yeah, a little both. And then I feel like, hopefully it's not gonna be like a false finish and then we get something else later on in the night. I hope it's an actual match that we get to see to open up. But yeah, it's could be a little bit of both. They saw all the excitement and everything over there on the other side, AEW. But even with Monday Night Football, they're going up against a big monster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true. So, because Monday Night Football starts about 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock as always.
East Coast time, and so same time for Raw. So They're probably like, okay, let's give him something big to start the show off, and hopefully people will stick around for the duration of Raw, so you kind of hook them in that way. Yep. But I love each of them cutting promos, and they promote it for the next night. So, but I think, Brian, did you tweet out that you like to see AJ Styles be maybe the next contender or challenger for Big E's WWE Championship?
Yeah, that after seeing them in the ring and seeing them face to face, Big E in I would say his championship form, it's interesting. I'm all for that. I definitely would like to see AJ Styles back in the title picture. I mean, pending what happens with the draft, because I mean, I don't know if Styles would be going back over to SmackDown, but I feel like Raw needs him more than SmackDown. I don't know. I feel like the draft is crazy. I feel like everything's kind of shaping up to be where it needs to be right now. I mean, there's some like mid-card people who I feel like could swap brands and it would benefit, but I don't know. As far as the top, the title pictures and stuff, I feel like Raw, I would like to see Big E, Styles, Big E, Orton, or something like that.
You just reminded me of something, and this is something I was going to ask you. So I didn't have a chance to do any sort of Raw review this week, but on Raw this week, we saw the Bloodline take on the New Day. Great opening match. Bobby Lashley came out, and even though the refs saw him clearly attack everyone and didn't stop the match, but he took out, destroyed everyone, looked strong. And then led to him going to the back and telling Pierce and DeVille, like, hey, I want Big E and Roman Reigns, and that was a triple threat for the main event, which was awesome. And Roman got the victory. He pinned Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley eating quite a few pins the last few weeks, which is fine. He's been booked very strong up until then, so he's helped putting people over. But my question is, do you think, I think a lot of people were assuming Drew McIntyre was going to go to SmackDown because he's been on Raw this whole time since he's been called back up from NXT in this second run. So I think from change of scenery, he should go to SmackDown. But then I see some people saying maybe Bobby Lashley go to SmackDown and he can challenge Roman Reigns over there. So there's a little foreshadowing. Or maybe both of them. Maybe both can go over there. But then that sucks for Raw. You're losing two of your main eventers.
Well, if Bobby Lashley goes to SmackDown, then maybe they want him and Brock.
That too. I mean, that is very, very interesting. So what I'm getting at is this match coming on Raw, I can easily see Bobby losing to Big E one last time, putting him over, and then he goes over to SmackDown. So maybe that's what could be happening here, but
it's gonna be interesting to see even how they format this draft, because it's a lot of like as far as if you look at the top, it's like you got Big E, Lashley, Brock, Roman, Finn, like so many like main event guys. It's just like if Raw picks Big E, right, and then it's obviously SmackDown picks Roman, it's like who's gonna get that next pick? I would pick Brock.
Man,
if I'm the next pick, like if I'm the person who gets the next pick, like why not? Or I mean, you got to take into consideration that Brock don't work every week either.
So he's more like a floating free agent.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be interesting, and that's maybe I'm trying to think. Maybe sometime this week we could do like a prediction video or something of like who gets drafted to where and why. I think the main thing, as long as you exchange a main eventer for a main eventer to each show, so that way the other main eventers have some fresh competition, and then the mid-card scene, you move like half the mid-card to the other side and vice versa, so the mid-card scene has fresh opponents for one another. I don't know, man, it's gonna be interesting. But that's the thing, is you gotta think about like your A players, they need fresh competition, so who you trade over, switch over, get drafted, that should be your fresh set of opponents. So it's like looking ahead, it's like, okay, who can Big E and Roman Reigns challenge over the next few months to give them some fresh storylines? But I don't know, we'll see. So maybe later this week we can do some predictions of who should go where and why. No, but great opening main event here. I did laugh when Pat McAfee, when Michael Cole introduced him, he started speaking in Spanish and French, greeting everyone, just acknowledging the audio issues. He is so golden. Like, he's amazing. I don't know if he checks Twitter or what he does, but he sees what's something going on that people are complaining about, and he'll acknowledge it in his commentary, which is great here.
Fantastic.
So next match was for the SmackDown tag titles. The Usos defending against the Street Profits. I mean, what can you say here that hasn't been said already? These are the two top teams of the overall tag team division for WWE. But yeah, Brian, what'd you think of this match here?
Yeah, it was good. I was like, I don't know how this match is going to go. I feel like all week, I felt like the Usos have been overlooking the Street Profits. And I kept saying, like, I want the Street Profits to get serious for a minute. Like, these guys overlooked you. You got to capitalize on it. And I felt like they did one before the match started, or, when they caught them coming into the arena. I believe it was on the kickoff. And, Montez was like, hey, you got my back. They jumped me. I need to know I can count on you. And then Angelo Dawkins is like, yeah, I got your back. And then, they do what they always do in this match, but I felt a little more sense of urgency. And it felt personal, like, hey, you guys, we're coming for you guys. We want our titles back. And for a minute, I thought the Street Profits had a chance. I thought it was leaning towards their way.
It's good storytelling right there.
Very good storytelling.
God, Street Profits are so fun. Montez Ford is a freak of nature, just his athleticism, everything he does in the ring. And like I said this on Twitter, he is the total package. He should be WWE champion at some point. You think about it. He's great in the ring. He's athletic. He's very charismatic on the microphone, cutting promos or doing interviews. He has it all. And so
he has a great super drop kick.
Yeah.
Great. The frog splash.
It's amazing. So
he's got it all.
And so like I said earlier, I watched SmackDown this morning and I really enjoyed that the night revolved around him getting like a singles run for the one night only, because Angelo Dawkins, I guess, was at a wedding. And so Montez Ford calls out the Bloodline and calls them bitches, and Roman Reigns got pissed and challenged him to a match as the main event. And it was a good match. Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns in the main event on SmackDown this week. And it was great. And I think, I don't know, maybe that's the beginning, Easter eggs or foreshadowing that Montez Ford is due for greatness, and eventually he could be one that will get a big singles run. I've said this before. I don't know if it's on the podcast or just to friends, but I really think Montez Ford, if you want to make a comparison, he really is like Booker T was for Harlem Heat. I think you got this extremely talented, fun tag team. We know they're probably not going to last forever as a tag team. They're eventually going to go their separate ways. And I think Montez Ford will have an amazing singles run. And don't get me wrong, I love Angelo Dawkins. He is great. He has improved so much since he's been moved up to the main roster. But Montez Ford has something special. And looking on Twitter, a lot of people are commenting the same thing. He is a special specimen, a WWE superstar. I could see him get a big push, and he could be a huge baby face for WWE. And that's the big conversation we've had on this podcast a lot, is who's going to be the one to eventually dethrone Roman Reigns and beat him for the Universal Championship. I think a lot of people thought originally it was going to be Big E. Well, now he's WWE champion. So he's got his own storyline now. But it's like, who else could it be? One idea I had was maybe Drew goes to SmackDown and he could be the one to eventually beat Roman to get back, his loss at Survivor Series to him. Or maybe it's someone from NXT, or is there someone else on the roster that we're not looking at? Or maybe there's someone coming up or hasn't been signed yet to WWE yet. But what I'm getting at is this Friday SmackDown really opened my eyes, is maybe it could be Montez Ford down the road.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I some people I see like, oh, Street Profits should be drafted, like break them up and draft separately. I'm like, well, no, I'm not necessarily break up the Street Profits that soon. But everyone's like, they accomplished everything already. Like their first, year and a half, because they got called up, beginning of 2020, if I remember correctly, or into 2019.
Yeah.
And they've won championships on Raw and SmackDown. for me, it's like, okay, yeah, they kind of won a lot early on, but it's like, no, don't break them up. Yeah, I think there's some fun storylines they could still do as a team, but maybe down the road, totally you could break them apart, but don't do that. I hate when they break up tag teams too soon.
Yeah.
But I do think Montez Ford, he could be one that, you know, if they treat him right, I think he can eventually get a singles run and be kind of like Booker T-esque, you know, in some capacity. I don't know. What do you think about Montez Ford, his potential as a single star?
Yeah, I think he's got it. I'm sitting here thinking now, like, man, like imagine they keep him together, right? And then they let's say they both get drafted to Raw. Like I would love to see Montez be one to answer one of those United States Championship Open Challenge matches, you know, and maybe even win it. You never know. Like, I mean, something new, something different. I feel like WWE needs that every now and then. Like, you know, unpredictability. It's like, wow, we didn't see that coming at all. And you don't have to break up the team for that to happen. I mean, we're used to WWE breaking up teams and all right, this one's going to go on a singles run. And in this one, we've seen it with the Dudleys happen before.
Heavy Machinery,
Otis and
Tucky.
Oh yeah. And then didn't that happen to I'm trying to think of another tag team it recently happened to.
Oh, that they broke up too soon.
Yeah.
God, I'm trying to think.
I think the more recent one was Otis and Tucker.
But yeah, you're right. As far as every time like a tag team, if someone wants to break off and get a singles run, they always got to break them up. One turns on the other, and one goes heel, one goes babyface. But it never can be. I would like to see just two guys like come to agreements. Like, hey man, we've accomplished everything as a team. Let's try to go our own separate ways for a while. Maybe have like a, you know, brotherly handshake and respect. We're still buddies, friends, family, but we got to go on separate journeys for right now. But we're gonna always have each other's back. You know what I mean? Like that's a story beat that they don't do enough of.
I think maybe they showed it.
Profits, yeah.
I think they've showed that it's possible with the New Day too. I mean, that's three guys who. Two have gone on to become WWE champion and go on and do their own thing. And I feel like Xavier Woods he obviously has things that he wants to do. You know, he wants to be king of the ring, you know, so that's something that he has in his future. He's talked about being U.S. champion in the past. You know, that never happened, but, you know, still. And you don't, I know a lot of people were pushing for New Day to break them up, or have Big E turn on. A lot of people thought that would be Big E's path to the WWE Championship, was turning on Kofi. And so, you know, you got a nice example right there that you don't have to do that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So that's the thing. It's like maybe Montez Ford can get a singles run, but not at the expense of ruining a friendship, kayfabe wise, and you know, kind of has to turn against everything that we know him for and love about him. But then again, I will admit, part of me is kind of intrigued. What would a heel Montez Ford look like? He's already very charismatic. Imagine him being a heelish and kind of have more of the freedom to say what he wants. He could be a lot of fun. Like, yeah, I'm just saying. But
even on Friday, I felt like he was really good on the mic. You know, he was natural, you know, and he started off, you know, very straight, but then he turned and got real serious real quick, and I loved it.
And when he referenced something like the locker room, God, I'm totally blanking, but he's being referenced to the locker room in the Usos. Like, you think you guys run this place or something? I forgot. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing here, but what I'm getting at, maybe after watching SmackDown this week, it really opened my eyes that maybe Montez Ford can be the one to eventually dethrone Roman Reigns, become Universal Champion, or just become their next big single star. Because they're always looking for who's the next big single star for them. Yeah. And maybe Montez Ford, this could be the beginning of it. So I'm just saying, we'll bookmark this episode, this clip, and this highlight right here, audio highlight, and we'll come back to it if he ever does come true. So, but the match itself, a lot of fun. Montez Ford looked really good in this match. The Usos did the double frog splash on him and got the pin. They retained their SmackDown title. So the Bloodline still maintains all their gold.
I have a hot take right here.
What's that?
when Montez Ford was selling the ribs that hard, and then that frog splash, and then getting it reversed, it should have been enough, I felt, for a 3 count. Otherwise, you could have had Angelo Dawkins break it up or something.
Well, I did like how Montez Ford had the bandage to really sell the effects of the beat down he got on Friday. So
it reminded me of Hogan in his steel cage match against King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 2.
Or DDP for like all the 90s.
Yeah.
Remember DDP was like wrapped in body tape or his ribs.
Like a mummy.
Yeah, for like, I think all of like
or
90, all of like 97 and 98, he was covered in that.
Oh, yeah.
That's another reference Philip doesn't know, by the way. So I'm just saying. Go back and watch it, Philip. I still want to do that with him. That might be a fun bonus episode. We go back and rewatch all Nitro episodes during the Attitude Era.
That would be fun.
Because like you and I joked, we watched it live in real time. Philip, not so much. He was too little, but yeah, dude, there'll be some interesting. I mean, I wonder how much of it holds up till today. That's my big question. But it's the other thing too. Did you notice, going back to Peacock again, all the commercials throughout the episode? Oh man, what was up with that? Are these the commercials that like they just inject them in whenever? Like, what was up with that?
So I have the non-commercial Peacock version.
Oh,
so
you do?
So I didn't get any, and that's actually the first time I've heard of them doing commercials during WWE pay-per-views.
That's okay. That's something I noticed too. I was like, okay, because SummerSlam, I was there, or we were both there. I rewatched it, when we came back, but I didn't notice the commercials. But this was, I think, the first pay-per-view in their short 6-month run so far on Peacock, where they just started randomly injecting commercials like before matches.
It's like with me. Whenever I go on, we have DAZN, and I watch the fights on DAZN, and they have commercials on DAZN.
So that's the thing.
Yep.
So, I'm glad you brought that up, Brian. So, yeah, we have the $4.99 version of Peacock because, for anyone listening, if you don't know, if you have Xfinity, if you subscribe to Xfinity, you link up your Xfinity account to Peacock, you get the $4.99 version for free. So I actually don't pay for the WWE Network currently or Peacock. But the $4.99 version does have some commercials. The $9.99 version or tier, commercial free. So that's what you have. So if we were to upgrade, we would just pay that $5 difference. Yeah. So interesting.
It's crazy that they did that. I mean, I figured they run enough. I mean, they show enough ads of their own, like their merch commercials and NXT and Raw coming up next Monday. I feel like, why would they have commercials? They have commercials of their own already.
But that's the thing. It was like, during even Roman Reigns' entrance, a commercial started playing.
Oh, yeah.
And some other like big, kind of important moments, they were showing a commercial. But I did see online, some people were pointing out, if you see a commercial pop up on Peacock during the middle of a broadcast, hit the refresh button and then it'll go away. So I was like, oh, okay. Kind of. I don't know if Peacock likes knowing that the commercials can be cut off, but hey,
right.
Like I said, I do pay for my subscription. I don't want that.
Right.
All right. So next up was, I know the match Brian was most looking forward to. Charlotte Flair defending the Raw Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. But Brian, I need you to please give the introduction to the Queen.
Well, Alexa Bliss, she had the honor of being in the ring with the Raw Women's Champion, the Queen. Charlotte Flair. And oh my God, she looked so nice tonight.
So what was that? Like,
I couldn't tell. It looked like it was like a half and half. You know what it reminded me of? Eddie Guerrero. How he had the half gold and the half black heights when he was in WCW.
Oh, it kind of reminded me though of like Venom from Spider-Man.
Ooh,
like
I didn't think about that.
Like it's a gold outfit, but then the black symbiote is like oozing to the other side. You saw how it was kind of like oozing over. It looked like.
Think about that.
So like Venom maybe inspired.
Nice.
It was
That's
cool.
Nice. That's nice.
But the match itself was actually pretty good, right? Right, Brian?
Yeah, I enjoyed the match. Alexa Bliss is always good to watch in the ring. She's always been great. And I loved her ring gear too. Her ring gear was amazing. I felt like they were both going back and forth really, 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 really well.
Yeah.
Flair did the double moonsault.
Yes.
like Andrade. That was really neat to see.
That must hurt the knees though, right? It's painful to watch for me because you land on your knees. You do like a moonsault and you land on your knees, and then you got to jump again. So it's like the initial pain or tingling in your knees from landing, and you got to jump again real quick. I'm like,
yep.
It's torture.
I'm worried about Andrade's knees like 20 years from now.
Right. I loved the counter of the first natural selection that Alexa Bliss did. It was a lot of offense. It was great. It was great back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, the finish or what happened after the match, I think is going to overshadow this match itself.
Yeah.
But it was a good, solid match here. Tommy, was there anything else from this match that stood out for you?
No, not really.
I mean, come on. I mean, Alexa Bliss is a former champion in her own right. So it was a good, solid match. So Charlotte does pick up the victory, though. So she's going to retain. Unfortunately, so what happened after the match, Charlotte grabs the Lily doll, rips it apart, and then walks away. Alexa Bliss just starts breaking down, ripping part of her own hair, starts throwing a tantrum, grabs the doll, and then walking up the ramp, like grabs the piece of the doll, and at the top of the ramp, she's like, I guess trying to look like she's foaming at the mouth. But unfortunately, the way she was on her knees and the camera standing over her, she has her mouth open crying, but you see a tablet under her tongue.
It was like an Alka-Seltzer tablet.
Yeah, it must have been like an Alka-Seltzer tablet to make her foam at the mouth. That's all everyone picked up on. Screenshots all over Twitter and stuff. Yeah. So what'd you think about that whole sequence right there?
I felt like, why? Like, she has to feel that. Like, well, don't. Like, I don't know, put it to the side or, put it under your tongue or something. And then even the camera angles, I felt like, why are you guys still shooting it?
It was a little cringy.
It was cringy. And
well my thing is like,
cringy.
I guess maybe from a visual standpoint, they were trying to do something like she would so distraught. She's like, blah.
Yeah.
But, I would love for one day she does a shoot interview and explains what happened here, this botch. But it just was not dissolving fast enough in her mouth. I never put an Alka-Seltzer tablet in my mouth before. But based on the commercial, as soon as you put them in liquid, they're supposed to go
like Mentos and Coke.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, a big Mentos.
That's what I thought.
So I don't know what happened. It was just not dissolving fast enough in her mouth. She didn't have enough saliva or something. But you put them in there, you should be like really trying to work it, break it down, maybe bite on it to kind of break it up a little bit so it dissolves faster in smaller pieces. But it just looks so bad. So I felt bad, and that's what everyone's going to focus on out of like a good match here. That's what's going to be focused on here. But I will say, okay, we have the ripped up Lily doll. I said this on Twitter. I hope Alexa Bliss's ripped up Lily doll will end up on display at a future WrestleMania Access.
Yes.
Have you been to an Access before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so Access is pretty much like their fan convention, usually held at WrestleMania, and on display are just different artifacts and items from WWE's history, from landmark, pay-per-views and Raw and SmackDown, just different items and, things on display from just historical moments. So I hope this Lily doll will be on display in some capacity, like ripped up. But
right. So
I'm just saying it should be. I think it deserves it now.
I feel like on Raw we're gonna get the funeral of Lily.
Oh God.
It's gonna be like Chucky and like restitched up or something.
Oh
like,
no!
Oh, you mean like
Lily?
Bride of Chucky?
Yeah, Lily's not done.
Lily's not done.
Hey, but Brian, you saw it at the SummerSlam Superstore in Las Vegas.
Yep.
They have a ton of those dolls, so Alexa Bliss can go pick up another Lily right away.
Yep. She can come get mine. I got one. Tell Charlie. Charlie be like, where are you taking my lily? Sorry. Gotta give it to Alexa.
But that's the thing. It's like, this Alexa Bliss. I mean, people need to realize the reason they keep doing this is because those dolls are selling. So, so I really wonder if this is going to be the end of the Lily doll, or is it going to come back in a different incarnation? I don't know.
You think you think maybe possibly they're putting it into this character with all the rumors of Bray Wyatt possibly showing up on Wednesday on Dynamite? I don't know. I mean, that's
something we haven't talked about, but yeah, like the Dark Order is like broken down right now. They need a new leader to guide them.
Yeah,
it makes sense. But his 90-day non-compete, I don't think is up yet, unless he bought out to get out of it early or something. But Rochester on Dynamite this week, which was Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee's hometown. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Who?
Yeah.
Where's his hometown?
Rochester, New York.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do here. I mean, Bray Wyatt's been tweeting out some photos and stuff, and like, I don't know what's gonna happen. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited. And then next up for the U.S. title, it was Damian Priest in a triple threat against Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. I mean, what can we say? I mean, Damian Priest has been booked so strong post Bad Bunny run.
Yep.
And it was kind of a little. The Miz stuff was okay. It was getting kind of boring for a little bit, but
I feel like that was Damian Priest's test.
Yeah, can he handle this?
Yeah.
But the match was awesome. I mean, the crowd loved Jeff Hardy. They were super into him.
Yeah, he got really over in this match.
And I think really want to see him win. I think especially because a few weeks ago, everyone was kind of scared. He was in the 24/7 group. Yep. But no, look, he's in the U.S. title picture again. So, like, don't, week to week, they probably just need an extra body down that one episode of Raw for the 24/7 scene. But, but no, Jeff Hardy's still very much a title contender. So that's something to look forward to. But yeah, how'd you think of this triple threat playing out here?
I enjoyed it. I felt like this was probably the most exciting and maybe best match of the night. I feel like Sheamus out there. I don't know how legit the nose. I mean, I know his nose got messed up again.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, his nose got messed up pretty bad again on Monday, and so. And he wasn't wearing the face mask on Monday, but now he came back wearing the face mask. I don't know if he broke it again. They say he re-broke it. But I don't know how true that is.
He looks like Zorro.
Well, that's the thing. I was looking, he does have kind of like some bruising up at the top of his nose, under his eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, is he okay? Because full disclosure, I didn't finish watching Raw all the way through. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know. When I watched this match, I was like, what happened to Sheamus? I thought he got rid of the mask. And I was like, oh, he got hurt again? Damn, that sucks. No, but the match, I mean, like... for anyone, if you haven't, please go back, listen to my interview with Sheamus last month from SummerSlam. He definitely said, like, it kind of, I'm paraphrasing here, but it kind of pissed him off that no one really considered him as the MVP of the pandemic era of WWE. Like, everyone was like naming all these other superstars, but he was like, I went out there and put on some hard hitting matches. And that's what I tweeted out, like, the last year and a half, Sheamus matches have been so entertaining. He goes out there and kicks people's asses. He tells a great story in the ring. And as he told me in the interview, he felt like he had to change something in order to get back on TV on a regular basis. And you think about it, from like 2020 to now, he's been putting out incredible matches, hard hitting. He really has been really just someone you can count on to go out there and put on a good match with someone, either put someone over or he won a U.S. title reign himself. So I definitely just want to give props to Sheamus, that he is someone that was very underrated and I think underappreciated during the whole pandemic era of WWE.
I know a lot of people thought Sheamus was done too. I mean, he was injured before he came back and went through that pandemic run a lot. I mean, he didn't even know if he was going to be able to come back on a full-time basis. So it was really nice to see him. One thing I liked about this match was it looked like they were going to recreate that Armageddon spot for Jeff Hardy, when he did the Swanton on, I believe it was Damian Priest, and the crowd went nuts after that. I was like, oh my God, he's going to do it. He's going to cover Sheamus and he's going to win. But, of course they teased us with a bunch of Jeff Hardy near falls and things.
I love when Sheamus got on the ropes and was mocking Jeff Hardy and doing like his move set. And he was like, shaking his hands in the air, dancing like, And then he told the crowd, someone in the crowd was, I still got it. And I tweeted out, yes, Sheamus, you still got it. And like I just said, like I love his work over the last year and a half. So Sheamus has just been so much fun. But Damian Priest does pick up the victory though, so he does retain the U.S. Championship. Sheamus got pinned here, which is kind of shocking because I thought Jeff Hardy was going to be the one to eat the pin when they added him into this match. I thought he was going to be the one to eat the pin, but no, that was not the case. So Damian Priest still booked very strong, and I see some people compare Damian Priest's current run, how Drew McIntyre's run was right before he won the WWE Championship. So, kind of a lot of similarities. Just booked very strong. People love seeing him come out and wrestle. So, I feel like telling Damian,
he's got a great look and great presence too.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to tell Damian Priest, enjoy it now, because who knows, a year and a half from now, people might start booing you because they're tired of seeing you. So,
I said that same thing about the Usos. I said, man, how long until everybody starts saying the Usos are only champions because they're family with Roman? They're gonna get so tired of seeing the Usos win every single time.
We saw Damian Priest. He went for the springboard off the middle rope, but Sheamus caught him with the knee. Then Hardy knocked Sheamus out and scored. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at this wrong. The finish came when Sheamus hit the bro kick on Hardy, but Priest rolled up Sheamus to retain the title. So, Tommy, you said the roll up is the most dangerous move in WWE now.
It is.
Tell Shayna Baszler that the roll up is like her worst enemy, her kryptonite.
Yep.
And I thought it was cool that Damian Priest and Jeff Hardy celebrated in the ring together, like a little respect together. So
it's like when I'm at the grocery store and I see fruit roll-ups, all I think about is WWE right now.
But I'm just saying, it's I think the crowd really wants to see Jeff Hardy win, but no, this is Damian Priest's time right now, and so that was cool. And then, where they go from here? I mean, does Damian Priest go to SmackDown and maybe Shinsuke as the IC champion? Trade the mid-card titles from Raw to SmackDown. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens here moving forward. Before this match, actually, before I forget, we see Paul Heyman in the back on the phone, and Caleb Braxton. I mean, Caleb Braxton and Paul Heyman, their chemistry is amazing now.
Yeah.
As far as you look at the greats like Mean Gene Okerlund and Ric Flair, or Mean Gene with everyone, Macho Man, like
Hogan.
Hogan. Mean Gene, Hogan.
Yep.
Caleb Braxton and Paul Heyman, their segments are always so entertaining. But she interrupts him while he was on the phone. Who do you think he's on the phone with?
Oh man,
is it Brock? I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, it's an Easter egg. We got to remember that segment, that scene, for how this story eventually plays out here. So I don't know. Just keep an eye out, people. Just saying. Next up, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, it was Becky Lynch defending against Bianca Belair here. For a lot of people, I think they were, this was probably one of the bigger matches everyone was looking forward to here. I mean, the pop Bianca Belair got, I mean, she is so over. And I love kind of like Bianca Belair's motivation. And, when I interviewed her earlier this year, she said her goal, she wants to take out all the 4 horsewomen at some point. She wants to be the slayer to all them. So, I like on SmackDown this week, she wore the varsity jacket, but had all her accomplishments on there. Yeah. And it said Bayley and Sasha on it. Yep. So she's going after, Becky right now, and eventually I'm sure she's going to go after Charlotte Flair. But what'd you think of this matchup between the two of them?
I thought it was good. I thought, it sucks because the crowd was split kind of down the middle. You had some who were for Belair, and you had a lot more who were still for Becky Lynch, even after the efforts of trying to turn her completely heel. But it went good. I could see why I'm glad that they had the opportunity to do these matches on house shows. That's the benefits of the house shows. I'm glad that they're back because they're able to test this out and kind of see if it works and put matches together and say, okay, well, next time we get in, we can do this. So I really enjoyed it.
Did you see I guess the house show yesterday? Bianca and Becky went outside, and Bianca grabbed Becky, took her to the crowd, and had a fan who her hair was similar to Bianca's and whipped her. And Bianca's like, hit her with the hair, and whipped her. And then Bianca went over and gave her a high five. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And that
was great, man. Yeah,
that's definitely just very cool here. I mean, I thought the match was very physical, very intense. And, it shows kind of like, they hate each other right now, obviously, just, really believe in that. It was interesting seeing Becky in the all white gear.
Yep.
Like, I was like, whoa, kind of taken back by that.
Yeah, a little gold trim.
Yeah. And then, we saw Becky Lynch towards the end was trying to go for the manhandle slam, aka the rock bottom. And then, but Bianca countered with the suplex, and then Becky rolled through and went for the arm bar. Bianca countered with the power bomb for another near fall, and then they traded hits on one another, attempted pinfalls. But Becky rolled through and went for the disarmor, but Bianca powered out. And then, this was a great sequence when she got out of it, and then Bianca went for the KOD, but that's when Sasha Banks ran into the ring, attacked her, got the DQ. So yeah, Sasha Banks is back. She looked amazing, by the way. Like, I don't know if that's gonna be, if that's gonna be like her new gear moving forward. I was like, that's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, attacked Bianca first. I guess technically Bianca wins based on a DQ. Then she started attacking Becky. Becky actually, when Bianca was laid there, we see Bianca and Becky looking at each other, and it's like, okay, what's gonna happen here? Becky gave like the little Orange Cassidy thumbs up, like, hey, like we're on the same team, we're cool. But then Sasha attacked her and started beating the crap out of her. So, it's like, I guess the enemy of my enemies, not my friend. I'm trying to think what's going to happen here. I mean, so I guess Sasha is a heel, but she also wants the title, so therefore she doesn't like Becky as well, because that's her title as well, or feels like it. I'm excited because Bianca Belair is still the baby face out of the three of them, so she's still probably going to be booked strong as the baby face. But yeah, man, what do you think of Sasha back in the equation? I mean, the SmackDown women's division's stacked now.
Yeah, I was really surprised because I was like, I don't know when we're going to see Sasha Banks again. So I was really surprised. I was a little on the fact that the match ended in DQ, but when I thought about it, it's like, okay, this sort of protects both the champion and Bianca. Like, Bianca doesn't take a loss, and she doesn't technically, like, technically she beats Becky, but she doesn't like beat her and take the title or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I know that WWE is going to get a bad rap for ending it that way. But I mean, you look at the future, whether these three stay on SmackDown, which I know a lot of people hope that they do, I mean, at this point you would kind of question why not, because if Sasha goes to Raw, then it's just like, well, why did she interrupt? Why would she go to Raw if she just interrupted the SmackDown Women's SmackDown Women's title match?
Yeah.
So it's kind of iffy situation. But if all three of them are going to be on SmackDown, then at least that gives for Toni Storm to go bye-bye, go over, or Liv Morgan, or you know what I mean? So I mean, it's really exciting to see. Okay. Or even whenever Bailey comes back, I don't know when that's going to be, but it's so crazy.
Bailey was busy at the Niner game today.
Yeah.
Bailey was out at Levi Stadium cheering on the Niners. So
on 2 feet.
No, Brian, you brought up a lot of good points there because, okay, this is obviously setting up like there's going to be it's a triple threat party right now up on the SmackDown Women's title scene. Now, do you trade one of them away to Raw with the draft? But that kind of sucks because then what goes the point of this whole segment then, this angle here. Now, what do you do? Like, if you keep the three of them, how do you kind of replenish Raw to give Charlotte some new competition? And you brought up a good point. Toni Storm hasn't been really used. Naomi has been kind of getting some stuff. I mean, her and Sonya Deville are getting into a whole storyline right now. We saw on SmackDown. But Sonya Deville is also on Raw as well with Adam Pearce. So maybe they can continue it on Raw. Yep. So that way you get the Sonya Deville, or you get Naomi, you get Toni Storm. I mean, I was kind of hoping to see Shayna Baszler go to SmackDown for a fresh start. But if she's booked as a monster, I guess she can stay on Raw then and just... So, like, okay, between Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Toni Storm, Naomi, that's 4 people to Raw. But then SmackDown becomes kind of thin because then it's what, Carmella and Zelina Vega? I mean, maybe you break one of them. I don't know. I'll let the powers that be decide that. But but no, I get what you're saying. Like, you don't want to break up the 3 of them because now it looks like, okay, things are going to be taken up to the next level with Sasha Banks' injection into all this. I did laugh. Bryan Dane did tweet out, only in WWE could a show whose name is based on a night of no rules have a match that ends in a DQ. So it's kind of funny. But I'm excited for this. But yeah, maybe Bayley, when she eventually does come back, maybe she does go to Raw. Man, God, SmackDown.
It's going to be fun when everybody's it's almost it's like a sports team, right? Like if you think about it, you know,
like
when everyone's out, it's just like, oh man, but then the excitement, like, oh man, when this person gets back, it's going to be so fun. Like when Bayley gets back, I know that women's division overall, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, or just all together, is going to be much better. So I'm excited.
I know fans really want to see what a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania with the 4 horsewomen.
Think we'll ever get that?
I just want to know, how do you book that? How do you get to that point? Yeah. Like, does all 4 of them have to be on one show? But then obviously that whatever show it is, SmackDown or Raw, is going to be very one-sided. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get to that point?
Unless you do, I mean, I don't know. I was going to say, unless you do something like that at like a Survivor Series. But
Survivor Series makes a little bit more sense potentially.
Mm-hmm. WrestleMania. People want to see it on the big stage.
Or this is not necessarily a fatal 4-way, but it's the 4 horsewomen tagging up, and then Bianca Belair gets her own team of like Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, someone else. But yeah, Tegan Nox, maybe Shotzi.
It'll kind of be an NXT reunion on that side.
Yeah.
If you have Bianca and Tegan and Shotzi and
or there was that photo of Rhea, Raquel, and Bianca, and then you get a 4th one. Like oh yeah, we forgot about call ups. So maybe Raw. If Bianca, Sasha, and Bayley, Bianca, Sasha, and Becky stay on SmackDown, maybe Raw is going to get the NXT calls. Maybe like Io Shirai,
Amber Moon.
So maybe that's what they'll do. It's like, okay, we'll keep these 3 here on SmackDown.
Raquel, if they possibly take the title off of her this week.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait, who's she facing?
Frankie Monet.
That's right. Monet. Yeah.
Yep.
Raquel, I think, is due. I mean, I think
she's due for a call up.
Okay, now I'm getting more excited for the draft now. Like, and you think about it, the Bay Area shows the following week are going to be the first set of shows post-draft.
Yep.
So I'm kind of bummed because I'm probably going to miss SmackDown in San Jose. And if Drew goes to SmackDown, I'm like, dude, I can't see him.
Man.
I'm like, So, oh well.
Can't see Corbin either.
I know, unless he goes to Raw.
Unless he goes to Raw.
I might actually hit him up like, hey, man, you want to hang out? Like, with Drew, man, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But all right, so main event time. It was Roman Reigns taking on Demon Finn Balor here, the only Extreme Rules match of the night. Which it didn't really come to play till later on. But okay, I know we're running a little bit long here, but yeah, Brian, your thoughts on this match here?
Yeah, this match was cool. It was interesting to see Roman come out first. You know, I mean, they didn't really need to do that. I mean, they really could have, but I get it. You know, the demon, so they want to have him come out last. But the overall match was good. I feel like, I still feel like Finn struggles to have a different set of offense for the demon. Still feels like Finn Balor. Still feels like Finn Balor to me. And so the Prince, yeah, it still feels like that. So it's like, okay, I'm still seeing the same moves, but you know, when they brought out the kendo sticks, and you know, I like the spot where Roman pushed the what was it, the table back under the ring. That was neat. Demon Finn's missing that viciousness. I feel like
the thing with Finn, I feel like he can adapt to certain styles. We watched in NXT when he came back, and when he was really the Prince, he adapted well. He really utilized his in-ring mat skills on NXT. But once he got back to the main roster, and this Demon Finn, I feel like he's a little bit lost. What should he do? What kind of adjustments he needs to make? You know?
Yeah. Well, it's you're right. No, Brian, you brought up a good point. It's like, other than the face paint, it's a typical Finn Balor match. So what does he need to do to amplify or set up? Like, the demon, we're going to see a different wrestling strategy out of him that we don't normally get to see. That's a very, very important observation I think you just made. So the match itself was good. I like how Roman got the kendo stick, and then Finn had like a bunch of kendo sticks taped together. And I was trying to look. I mean, the camera cuts are so fast, but it looked like the way it was wrapped, it looked like Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrat guitar. Right, Tommy? It's a Frankenstrat. Yeah. Did that look like that? Let me just double check how I put it on Twitter. Eddie Van Halen's classic Frankenstrat guitar. So anyone who knows Eddie Van Halen or Van Halen, his guitar, it's red with black and white stripes all over it, and that's what it looked like the way it was wrapped around his guitar. So I was like, Eddie Van Halen, but I don't know how many people recognize that. So but it was cool. He took like all these kendo sticks, it was like swinging. And I like how Finn tried to bring the table out, but Roman's like, no tables, and pushed it back. So everyone's like booing him, like, great way to get
such a heel move.
Such a heel move. Like, no, I know it's Extreme Rules, but we're not going to actually use any tables here. But then they go outside, and I love this. Roman put on a mask.
Yes.
To go to the outside. I was like, that's a smart move, and that's a great message right there, people. Please be safe out there.
And again, I felt like it was just another heel move. It was like, if you really think about it, right? Like it felt. I was surprised. I think that's a first. That's a first.
Yeah.
And this, the pandemic era, you see a wrestler go out in the crowd and put on a mask.
John Moxley's not doing that. We haven't seen him do that.
Okay. Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
But the match was a lot of fun. And just that ending sequence, though, when the Usos came out and stopped Finn Balor's pin. What, Tommy? What?
No, go on.
No, keep going.
No, I thought you were leading up. No, I'll let you lead up to what you're talking about.
Okay. And so, the Usos come out and they start attacking Finn. Because it's Extreme Rules match, so technically no DQ, so that's why the Usos get involved. So like they beat up Finn. So I'm actually looking here at just the recap. So yeah, Usos beat him down, hit him with a double super kick. They set up the table at ringside. And sorry, I'm laughing because I'm reminded of your tweet. Yeah. We see Roman slam Finn through the table. So finally, we get a table spot, but it's Roman who uses it on Finn. But he gives him like the ultimate wedgie. And when you tweeted out his booty cheek.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God. And they kept replaying it over and over.
He was one booty cheek hanging.
And he was practically wearing a thong.
Yeah.
And then I thought he went to the table. Man, is he going to splinter up his ass or something? Like,
Jesus.
and then so we saw so Finn Balor fought back. He took out Jimmy, and then he gave Jay a powerbomb through the announce table. The crowd erupted for it. That was great. And then we saw Roman Reigns spear Balor through the barricade. Ooh. Dude, so that whole sequence was just awesome. And then Finn is laying there on the ground, and the whole lights go out, and it starts turning red, and you start hearing this heartbeat sound effect in the arena, and Finn Balor starts like flopping like a fish on the ground to the heartbeat in
like
rhythm.
Someone is like in the hospital, and they give him like the defibrillator, and he's like, clear.
I mean, to me, I tweeted it looked like Michael Jackson from the Thriller music video, the zombies, the ding ding.
Yeah,
like,
that too.
But he was like flopping like a fish.
To me, the resurrection was hype, and then it wasn't.
And then so he gets up, he's like, jacked up, like, yeah, like, but it was weird because like the red lights come on, and I'm like, oh no, is this like Hell in a Cell 2 years ago with the Fiend and Seth Rollins? And I was like, no.
It was kind of corny. I thought.
Then like his music started playing at the same time. And I was like, too much is going on here.
I was like, did they forget to turn the music off? I thought it was just a boom boom. But he gets up and like watching a TV show.
Like, what the hell's going on? Is this supposed to be some like action sequence in a movie? Yeah. And he starts beating Roman with the chair.
I guess this is Finn's version of Hulk Hogan's hulking up.
Yeah. He's demonizing himself. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then Balor put Roman through the table. And then Balor puts Reigns back in the ring. And he climbs the top rope. And you could tell he was trying to get his balance. I'm like, oh, please don't fall. Maybe he can't see because it's dark with the red light. And I thought, oh, shit, he's going to fall here. But then suddenly, the rope snapped, and he falls in the ring. And I was like, at first, I was like, no, that did not just happen. Because he's like, what, under 200 pounds?
Yeah.
Like, that cannot happen here.
It's Paul Heyman's fault.
But then the lights turn back on, and then Reigns hit him with the spear for the win. And like you see, like Finn, when the lights came back on, he was like grabbing his knee, like, oh, did he hurt himself falling into the ring? And that's when Roman then speared him. But yeah, no explanation of why this ropes just suddenly broke out of nowhere.
So they couldn't afford another appearance fee for Brock Lesnar, so they had to think of something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. So Brian, what'd you think of this ending finish here? Like, it was like on a high note, the way Finn was taking out the Usos when he got amped up, but then that rope finish kind of like womp womp. I mean,
I thought it was a very clever way with the lighting and the music. It was like corny, but like clever at the same. Like, it was very Vince. Like, I was like, oh, this has to be Vince's idea. Like, this is movie action thriller scene. Like, the demon.
pal.
And then when he went on the top rope, and I heard the clink, and well, I don't know if it was Michael Cole or McAfee, is like, the top rope broke.
Well, that's on top of. Remember on SmackDown this week, I forgot to mention, remember Montez went to go step on the table and the table fell down, and then Pat McAfee said, oh, it was probably my fat ass when I was on it earlier dancing for Shinsuke Nakamura. So like
Michael Cole goes, you're probably right.
That was good ad lib from Pat McAfee. But yeah, man, the last couple episodes of WWE television, things are breaking on them.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I mean, God,
they need crazy glue.
It was a great match, and, kind of corny, a little bit, the whole red light stuff.
Yeah.
But what
brought back some memories.
But yeah, what Finn did, though, he looked super strong in his efforts, his comeback.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rope thing kind of like, just made it kind of like one big joke. And I mean, I guess it's a way to get out of the match and like protect Finn as far as, well, you know, it was this weird freak accident that cost him his loss. So not going to say what he did wrong.
Right.
But everything, Michael Cole kept saying Finn Balor is undefeated as the Demon in WWE. And I'm like, Samoa Joe beat him when he was the Demon, but I guess since that's NXT, it doesn't count.
Didn't Bray Wyatt beat him?
Wasn't that just regular?
Or was that just...
Oh, that was regular. That
his
was regular.
debut. Yeah, his debut.
Yeah.
The Fiend's debut. Yeah, it was just regular Finn.
Okay, never mind then.
We were going to get the two of them, but it never happened.
They don't acknowledge it, just like they don't acknowledge Charlotte's title reigns.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. I know. They wiped all that out too, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, that finish was just like, everyone knows, like everyone's gonna just laugh at that, and that's all they're gonna focus on.
I'm already seeing I'm just gonna watch AEW tweets.
Oh my god! Yeah, right. You know, a lot of them still watch in silence, in secret. They still watch it.
They're low key about it,
and we know plenty of people who say they watch AEW only, but we know they still watch WWE. I know plenty of them. So, so don't even front.
We know.
But overall, I thought the in-ring work tonight was great, and that's the thing. These B-level pay-per-views, I think a lot of times people's expectations are not like, they're so low, they don't have a lot of hype behind it, but then the superstars come out and over deliver from the in-ring product. So that's, I want to give kudos to everyone at WWE for putting on a fun show in that sense here. But yeah, Bloodline, man, looking tall at the end of the show here. It's gonna be interesting seeing Big E, Bobby Lashley tomorrow on Raw. And yeah, what they're going to do next, it's exciting. The draft's on the horizon.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
A lot of stuff, man, to look forward to.
It's going to be fun.
I know we got Saudi Arabia coming up in a few weeks, and that's a whole different thing. But, yeah, man, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. And, of course,
hopefully we get news on King and Queen of the Ring, and if and when that ever happens.
Ooh. Yeah, because that was supposed to be kind of build up starting soon, and what the finale or the finals will be in Saudi Arabia, if I remember correctly. So it's I'm looking forward to this. I'm trying to think, is there anything else from this main event here I want to talk about?
No,
I think that's about it. Let's
just call it a night.
Yeah. All right. On that note, let's start wrapping things up. Brian, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You guys can find me at Within the Ropes on Twitter and Instagram, and withintheropespodcast.com. That's where all the podcast stuff is.
Awesome, man. No, definitely kudos to you, man, for all the work you've been putting in. I know your Twitter game has been amazing. Just the amount of followers you've been getting.
Your Twitter game is strong.
Your graphics, your artwork, all that stuff. It's very entertaining, man. Please follow Brian on everything at Brian Tronic, also on social media as well. But yeah, Within the Ropes, all that good stuff. Tommy, how about you?
First, I want to make a statement.
What?
We haven't discussed NXT for this week.
Oh.
Mark my words, I'm going to make a prediction. In the next 6 months, Braun Breaker is going to be the NXT champion.
Ooh.
You heard it here first, folks.
You heard it here.
Well, Tommy was a fan of Bronson Steiner of like the year before he even signed with NXT.
Oh, yeah.
So he's been following him for a long time. So,
but until then, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IronFist1982.
And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. Of course, subscribe to In The Kliq wherever you get your podcasts at. Also on YouTube, rate, comment, all that good stuff. Share the podcast. All that stuff just helps out so much. Also follow us on social media at In The Kliq, inthetliq@gmail.com. Merch, just click the link in our bio. All that good stuff. And hopefully in the coming weeks, some more exciting, just content-wise, we can get into. But I need Brian's mastermind to help me learn all this stuff.
Yes.
So we'll put it together. But like always, thank you guys for all the continuous support. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.